Hello, Martin. Welcome to episode 45 of Illuminating Rounds. We have had some technical problems, which you've just heard there. I heard a little bit of a hiss. We can't work out where it's coming from. So apologies.
And now we've mentioned it live, we can't really edit it afterwards, can we?
Can't take it out now.
For the whole show.
That's right. If we could figure it out, it's like a creaking floorboard that you don't know where it's creaking from.
I think it might become a new signature for Illuminating Rounds. Every now and again.
If you could decode the code, let us know. Right in. We've been talking about chocolate kebabs. You've been enjoying yourself?
Absolutely. Anyone who's a Facebook friend of mine can have a look at my page and see a picture of me having eaten a chocolate kebab.
Right.
I've got chocolate all over my face. Very nice, though. The new shop opened up in town.
And building on from your Table Talk 3, which was very good, you played the tank scenario that we put together. But you've also put another YouTube video out. You've become the YouTube sensation of your local area.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So we'll put a link below. But if you want to see where Martin lives and have a drive with Martin, it's not quite driving Miss Daisy because it's sped up. But I'm sure you only had to speed it up to make it look like you were driving faster. But you do a little drive around your town, which is very nice. Lots to talk about today. We're going to talk about some film reviews. No doubt we'll make that our regular feature. We'll butcher a film review. We're going to talk about Guards Counterattack and a scenario that we played last week and how quickly a game can turn around. I think that's a fair summary of that scenario. We're going to talk about the quarterfinals of the Illuminating Rounds tournament. We're going to do a little bit of a different giveaway this week in terms of how to give away something that our anonymous donor sent us previously. We're going to talk about Double One that's coming up in a month or so's time. And we have to thank our latest patron, Richard Locke. Richard, thank you very much. Your T-shirt is on its way. We are very appreciative. You have the last T-shirt. There are no more. That was a limited run T-shirt.
We're not insulting him by sending him the only double extra large one that we had left.
It's literally all we've got left. So I did mention that to him.
If you are a slender gentleman, then perhaps you can squeeze in, with the missus or whatever, and it'd be nice and cozy watching Netflix together.
That's right. Yeah, it could be the whole family. I don't know how many you can get in this T-shirt. It's quite a big one. So Martin, what have you been up to? Have you been busy?
Well, do you know what? I've got the GoPro, and that's why I've been busy scootering around town on my bike and in the car, taking very, very random videos. I'm enjoying myself doing that. And I'm just making plans. I've got big plans for in about 9 weeks' time.
What's 9 weeks?
I get 7 weeks off work, and at the end of that 7 weeks, I'm going back to work 2 days a week.
Right. So
3 to 5 days a week, I'm going to be dedicated to my new ASL unpaid career.
Fantastic. Well, listen, the patrons are supporting you to do that. Let's do that. I managed to do something in ASL related. I got my map. So you and I have a map. Look at this one. So we all know this board. I'm not going to tell you the board number because you know I wouldn't insult you, Martin.
Yeah, that should be in the Tate modern, shouldn't it?
Well, exactly. So this is obviously Don Petros's board that we got from him as part of the help we sent over to Charlie Kibler for his accident he had. And obviously we've got one of these boards not framed but up for the prize for the Illuminating Rounds this tournament. So we should talk about that. We can talk about the quarterfinals and the lineup. You can win. The patrons can win a good set of stuff. So they can win 3. And I think because you need one of these to be able to play all of them. So it's the Gettysburg. This is going to be reversed, so apologies. But the Gettysburg critical hit ASL stuff. So there's the Turning Point 1863. There's the Devil's Den, and also the Into the Wheatfield pack as well. So these 3 packs can be won by Patreons. Any level patron, if you give us a comment in the YouTube video or on Game Squad, or maybe even Facebook if you're going to check Facebook, Martin. You're going to check Facebook? I don't know.
There we go. Yeah.
All right. So as long as it comes before the next episode, we want you to predict the winner You don't have to get it right. The winner of the tournament. So we're going to tell you who's in the current set of quarterfinals. Martin, you are still in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah.
So let me tell you who is in. I'm just going to pull it up now. So I can tell you that you are in against Martin. You are playing.
Okay.
You're playing. You're playing Tiomo. Yeah, that's right. Yes, our Finnish Tiomo.
Yeah.
Jason Nichols is playing David Garvin. Tom Rapetti is playing Dave Maresk. And Morris Legg is playing Richard Webber. So those are the quarterfinals. Who knows who's going to win that one? It's the reigning champion is out. So it's... but anyway, all you have to do is just drop us a comment. Who do you think is going to win? That's all. You don't get it right. We'll pick a random Patreon from the list that submits a thing, all for fun, no problems. And if there's a few, I don't know, should we split up the prize, Martin, or just put it as one?
Do you know what I'm not sure about is, are they standalone products?
See, I don't know that. That, and it's critical hits. So it's tricky.
I think give them as a job. I think somebody who's interested in that, and that's a topic. I think that'd be a fantastic thing. Yeah.
All right, that's what we'll do.
Okay. Yeah.
So just drop us a note. Let us know who you think's going to win. If you want to sign up as Patreon and as part to win it, that's absolutely fine. There's no, you can do that. All right, okay. So let's move on. Kelly's Heroes.
Yeah.
What did you think, Martin?
It's a crazy film, isn't it? It's absolutely nuts, that film. I can see why people enjoy it. I don't think I would have put it down as my best or one of my best war films, because what I think I quite enjoyed about it wasn't particularly that it was about war. It was sort of the crazy characters, an amazing cast.
Yes.
And oh gosh, what's the guy's name that played the absolutely crazy tank commander?
Sutherland. Was it?
Yeah.
Sutherland?
Steve Sutherland. Yeah, I thought he was incredible. I've never seen a more convincing madman than that. So I thought the cast was brilliant. It had such a crazy kind of feel to it. Whether that captured the mood of 1944-45 in Europe, I don't know.
Right.
I think I like. If I'm looking for my best war film, I'd be looking for something that was more of a pure of a war film, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it was great.
Yeah. Clint Eastwood with his one facial expression the whole way through the film made me smile. And the crazy captain, I don't know, lieutenant, the guy that wanted to get his yacht back to Europe was.
Yeah, that was insane, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, the battle scenes. There's all sorts of realism, because I think they use real Shermans.
Yes, that's what someone said. Yeah.
That's the kind of thing. I think that's why some, war people particularly enjoy the film, because they know the equipment's correct and stuff. But there's no way that those are realistic battle scenes. That was.
You don't think firing paint pots into the back of a tiger is?
Who am I to say that never happened?
I mean, to be fair, I guess if you were hit from the rear and you couldn't turn around, you would panic. But I don't know. I mean, So I mean, I think I did enjoy the film. I don't know if it still makes it onto my top 5 list. I don't know whether there's some kind of sort of fondness looking back at it and that kind of thing. But yeah, and then we both watched the Brest Fortress as well, didn't we? And
well, it couldn't be more different, could it? It couldn't be more different a film, a much more serious film. I really enjoyed that. It was quite lengthy, wasn't it? There's a lot of action.
Yep.
They don't do big explosions as well as Hollywood, do they? They do that. It all looks just very slightly more amateurish in a way, or on a smaller scale. I think production values seems a smaller scale, but nonetheless, it was an interesting story, wasn't it? It's about that big kid, I guess, basically. So
I loved it because it told me a bit about a battle I didn't really know very much about, and that was very good. I did feel like it was a little bit, it's terrible to say, repetitive in its kind of, these guys are holding out and they are struggling against all odds, and they are struggling with everything. I mean, the water situation and everything. but it was. I mean, I thought the acting was very good and the characters were very good. I liked the big kind of funny, sociable, laughy, jokey, dancey guy. I don't know if he was a commissar or whatever he was, but it was good. Again, I don't know. I mean, I know people give me a lot of hard time about Fury, and I get that Fury is not realistic. I'm not, I've played enough ASL to know that Fury is not realistic. That's all I can base my World War experience on is my dice rolling. But I don't know. I got entertained by Fury. I was, Glorious Bastards was an entertaining film. I mean, I don't, of course it's not historically accurate. I mean, in terms of, but just in terms of characters and things like that.
Yeah.
But
I thought what was interesting about Brest was that you saw a battle very early in the war, and although the Russians obviously lose, they by no means walked over in the way that the kind of so I have no idea what the truth is, whether that film presents a very pro-Russian point of view or not, I don't know. But the very general history books suggest the Germans were walking over the Russians. Whether that really felt like that, if you were a German in the front line, I don't know. I mean, I think it says the same about Poland, but and France, and the Germans took big casualties, particularly in France. It was by no means a walkover, even though on a strategic level it was. I'd be quite interested to know how realistic that film was.
Right. I think one of the things there is that you can take that film, and that may be, I don't know if it's over a duration of a week or whatever it might be, but if you basically look at the German advance over a week, what actually that means in terms of the speed at which they move through, and so what appears to be a really long time, a week of battling, actually in the history books just looks like it's just a footnote, isn't it? First week of September, whenever. But it was interesting. Good film. We'll watch another one. Brest Fortress you can watch on YouTube for free. I paid for Kelly's Heroes on, I think it was Amazon Prime. I don't know if you
MGM.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
It was Amazon MGM through Amazon Prime because it's impossible to find out how to cancel it.
Well, do you know something? I've managed to pay for. I'm paying for MGM still because I can't cancel it, and
Really?
I've now bought it as well. So, great. Okay. Well, anyway, there we go. That's that.
I managed to cancel it, but it took me 40 minutes sat there trying different things, and I think it's hidden. The cancellation's under something like I don't know, information about other websites or something. It's not where you would expect it to be.
All right. Okay.
I don't know why we do that. It seems so unhelpful.
I don't know. I don't know either. I don't know. Right. Okay.
So what film are we going to review next? Do we want people to make some suggestions?
I think you've got a list there. I don't think we're going to hear from them before the end of this filming.
I haven't got it right in front of me, but
the good news is we can cut this bit out.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant.
But you haven't got one yet.
I don't have a list.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. We can't find one. We'll take a look at one.
Yeah.
And we'll do that. Okay. Right. So next up, we're going to talk about the Guards Counterattack.
Old classic. Yeah. So you and I played this. We've played it, I think, at least once before. Well, do you know what? I've got to own up. I've played it more than once because I played it in Squad Leader. Because there were only 6 scenarios in the original Squad Leader box. Oh, no, there were 12. And I played it probably quite a few times.
Right. Do you actually remember the tactics of playing it that many times?
I'm not sure I remember the tactics, and I don't think Squad Leader had human wave, which I think we utilised in this one, don't we? We don't. Okay. So it wouldn't have made any difference. Okay. But no, I don't remember tactics. I do from the next one, the tractor works. I remember a little bit of tactics from that, but that did feel very different. The way smoke worked was different.
Yep.
Yeah, it was different.
Right. Okay, well, let's take a look at the game. So I am the Russians. You are the Germans. I don't know whether we can say this is a standard setup. I don't know if I'm sure that by now there's a known good setup.
I'm sure that's true. I mean, I suppose as ASL scenarios go, it's very, very scripted, isn't it?
Yes.
You know exactly which buildings you've got to put your units in.
Yes.
It's quite limited.
So the thing about that, though, is that because there's not very many variations, you would think that actually it would come down to this is a good setup or a better setup, especially for the Is it the Germans set up first? I can't remember if the Germans set up first.
Yes, Germans set up first.
So I guess, and I mean, in our famous tradition, you're going to see that I play this wrong. I didn't realise that there was stairwells, no stairwells in this building, the G4 building. So you will see my guys from upstairs come downstairs without going backwards, and I catch it midway through the game. Yeah. So it wouldn't be.
It's not quite our normal standard. Normally, you take advantage of the invented stairwell for the first half of the game, and then when it's in my benefit, we've realised and decided we can't have a stairwell.
Isn't that what everyone does? Yeah. All right. So I mean, yeah. Let's play through and see how it goes. Your sniper.
So we need the victory conditions. We need to make.
Oh right. Okay. Yeah. So So for those that don't know, Guards of Counterattack, right? So the Russians will win this by grabbing 2 more stone buildings than they start with from the Germans, effectively, or they can have a 3-to-1 squad ratio, good order squad ratio at the end of the game. I mean, that's pretty much it, isn't it? There's a lot of 18, 16 up 3 shots and this kind of stuff. So we'll have the standard kind of concealment checks and everything, and then we are off and running. So bunch of prep fire that doesn't do very much from the Russians, and we are off and running.
You said it doesn't do much. You broke the squad.
I mean, to break 2 squads, but I don't think that was. I mean, there was an awful lot of firepower that came from these guys here. 36 with a down 2 leader in one of the hexes. At this point,
it's looking grim already.
I was pretty happy with this. Yeah, exactly. In that first building. But then straight away I'm broken with a guy here.
That was a bit of luck on my part, then.
Broken again in M5. So I break you back. Let me just turn off the red circles. Let's just do that. Right. Okay. So I mean the fire back, breaking one of my guys. Managing to basically retreat them because the pinned guys and the broken squads here don't obviously.
But you break me in the advance of your fire shot as well.
That's right. And then you decide to break this guy here.
And then this is where I make a mistake, a horrific mistake. I should have routed back to I8.
Right. Yes.
The wood, and I only go back to H8. Oh, what I was thinking.
Right. And that gives me the chance to DM you again.
Exactly.
So at this point, I don't think I could have expected a better first turn, really. And
the Germans got the capability to build some really good fire stacks. I think that's the thing. They've got to build them a little bit. It takes a bit of time.
That's right. You get this, a huge stack at the back here, which is going to prove very difficult to take on. So I DM the stack as expected. You reposition. I get the hero, obviously, at an M3.
I was beginning to despair at this point.
Yeah. Now, I think at this point, I made a mistake. What I wanted to do, I was hoping this guy would rally, and it's because you ELR'd him. But my plan was just to jump into this building. I was going to come through J3, and just because it puts such a problem on holding the left-hand side of the German flank here. But I don't manage to rally very much. So I bring the hero in to just prevent you from first firing. But your sniper got quite good. Start pinning my sniper.
Yes. I never quite got the 10-2, which was the hit I take this one.
Right. Now the problem here is that the 10-2 here up against your 3 squads and your 9-2. And you'd think that with my 8 morale, I should be okay here, but
In fact, it's 9 morale, isn't it? Oh no, he's not a commissar.
He's not a commissar,
sorry.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But you do get the first blood, if you like. We'll see. There's me DMing a little bit of your stack here, like every.
Then you DM the entire stack apart from the leader.
Right.
And so I've actually got a leader in both of those hexes.
Yep.
But yeah.
And at this point, so we're looking at this right now, and it's almost embarrassing, isn't it? Like the Russians are just gonna walk over you. You've got three broken squads with a 9-2 who's pinned, and you've got 3 broken squads with a 9-1. You've got,
and actually that hero is unhinging my defense of even the squad I've got left in the central building, isn't it?
Your heavy machine gun guy is broken here as well.
Yes.
So it's all to play for. And at this point, I think, I had sense that you were going to resign on one bad rally phase.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at how that rally phase goes. This is I think we're advancing.
Oh, this is your advances, isn't it?
So, making it even worse for you, really, here.
Yeah.
But this is a risk. This is a risk. Okay, so I've got...
There is a risk.
1.5 squads, 2.5 squads, 3.5 squads here in open ground. If this stack rallies, trouble.
Yeah. And it's not crazily impossible. And in fact, it more or less happens, doesn't it? I think I get 2 back in each stack.
Exactly, yeah. So you get
4 squads back on the left.
That's right.
And the medium. And the heavy machine gun squads back.
Yeah. So suddenly, it's the prep fire from hell from the Russian point of view. Everything is just...
I enjoyed this though, Dave.
And
I kept rating fire amazingly well.
You did. It was horrendous. And what I got left with at the end of this,
this is the hit. Yeah.
So at this point, I'm suddenly left with 5 broken squads. I think there's a couple of half squads in there in G6.
And I press a little bit of an attack there, don't I?
Yeah. And then you're
which I'm getting, which is typical Martin. Stupidity, really.
But in this game, that's part of it. You're not you're not trying to do anything. And so we've got this problem where I think again we both talked about the potential of us both firing this melee. If I had anyone to fire at it with. You've got your heroic.
Pressing on that.
Yeah, you've got your heroic guy back. It's still looking quite grim. Your fire again breaks everybody. There's a lot of 6s there in those rallies. looks like a great score in Yahtzee, but not.
I think that's perhaps, is that where you called it?
Yeah, I think it's very close. Here. And in terms of so it was brutal, right? It was from what I thought was looking really good for the Russians.
Maybe certain actually.
Yeah, exactly. I just couldn't see
the thing is, I suppose, was it 3, 4, 5, 6? It's still rallying on a 6. So although you wouldn't expect me to get 4 back, it is likely that quite. And I think in previous turns when they were DM, they hadn't rallied at all. So all it really did was adjust the luck back, But
right. Yeah,
I was saved by a very good rally round, no question.
Exactly. About that. And so I think what we wanted to talk about this game was how quickly games can swing around. I know that I know that the Guards of Counterattack is a very dicey game anyway. It's going to be won or lost. Your dice weren't amazing. There was nothing. We looked at them at the end.
Looked at them,
you rolled exactly 7 on your average BTC dice. I didn't roll badly. 78 dice rolls and 7.17 was my average. It was, I think it's one of those ones where you can show that these games spin around on one great thing. And we touched on this before, didn't we, about how don't resign too early or don't give in. And there was a lot of good feedback about people saying just play all the way through. Don't worry. And I think there's some,
which is good. And actually, I think you sometimes you sometimes learn a lot, even though you've lost, because you're suddenly very focused on some quite kind of end gamey sorts of things. How can I keep these units alive or hang on to that building a little bit longer. And even though you're very unlikely to win, it does focus your mind on those aspects of the game, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
Mm.
Guards Counterattack, I mean, is it a game that you think you're going to play more, or is it a case of you've had enough of that now?
I don't think it's one of the great games scenarios in the stable. The thing is that it is where the story begins. It is the first ever squad leader scenario. It's scenario 1 from squad leader, and who want to play that? The ASL version of it.
You made a really good point when we were playing, in that you said it doesn't look or feel like an ASL scenario. It's so like the way it's set up, everyone on top of each other. It's a very different scenario to most that we will see now, with a little bit of movement, more open space, chances to kind of flank.
There's almost a sense with it that you should be there firing at each other for a while to see who gets who wins the firefight.
Right.
So I wonder if I think that there was some thinking that that's what the game would be like when they first developed Squad Leader. In effect, at the back somewhere, there's a little thing on World War II tactics, and it says something like building fire bases, winning the firefight, and then you move,
right,
having suppressing. And that isn't really how ASL plays now, is it? It's a game of movement, really.
Right. Yeah, with skulking being such a important tactic, and the Germans can do a bit of skulking. I know it's not that easy, but they can skulk a little bit in this.
Of course, it's utterly unique because it's the sister game to the Tractorworks, so you can play the Tractorworks or this one on their own, or you can put them together. And I think that's called Speaks of Stalingrad. And I think
you're right. I think you're right.
A couple of tanks each as well.
But they're huge, aren't they?
It's actually a pretty big game. It's a big game. Yeah, and I think the Tractorworks is quite an exciting scenario,
right?
Because the Germans just got to the road and get into this building. And once they're in, they face the heavy machine gun that's set up, not to stop them getting in, because there's lower TEM inside the factory, so you get this sort of bits of fighting going on inside.
I remember playing it against you and thinking, I've just got squads to throw you. You get 26 5.27s.
Yeah.
It's just incredible, and 12 4.47s. It's just throw them at the Germans. I mean, the Germans don't do bad. They've got 19 squads or so.
No.
And we're gonna have to think of something. We're gonna play live in a couple of weeks, aren't we? We're allowed to hug now.
Yeah.
Which is what we've been waiting for.
When you say live, you don't mean live online. You mean
in person. In person.
Yeah. That's right. I'm looking forward to it. People could make a suggestion if there's something they wanted us to play.
Yeah, we thought about Hill 621.
Oh yes, that's true. Yeah.
So we thought about that. I've played that a couple of times, and I'm exhausted by the end of Hill 621. And the map looks a mess. I always remember I just want to clear it up, and I've had enough after, I don't know, like 9-10 hours. It might be too long. I don't know.
I remember playing it, and it just feels like there's little battles all over the place. There's little battles to stop anti-tank guns coming on, and there's like just little stuff going on around it. We'll have a look at it, see whether we think it's doable in the time.
Okay.
It's definitely a possibility.
Okay.
I did think it might be quite nice to do a live game at some point for something that a lot of new players like, to play through what's it called now? The one with the Finnish retreating.
Fighting withdrawal.
Something like that might be quite an interesting.
Do you want to do that as our next Twitch game?
That's the idea. That's my suggestion. I'm not saying we should definitely.
I'm okay with that.
One for people new to the hobby.
Martin, it's a done deal. We're going to do it. Why wouldn't we?
That'd be great.
Why don't we do that? All right, so that will be our next live game. My internet still isn't great. I don't know if yours is any better, Martin. We'll have to do a speed test and check.
We'll check that
to see if yours is better to do that. But we will do another Twitch stream then shortly. Good. Okay, all right. Next up, let's have a look.
Double one.
Yes. So right, we are both going to double one. We're both excited about this.
Does everyone know what double one is? I mean, it should be.
Tell them.
It's a tournament in Essex, UK, in about a month's time. Well, you never know. People might play double one.
You've not been in marketing, have you? You didn't hype it up.
Well, look, it's such an enjoyable tournament to go to in terms of like hyping up. I don't know that I don't think it necessarily needs hyping up. I think that there's usually plenty of interest in people going. But it's great because it's in the middle of the summer, so it's fantastic weather. It's a nice location, and there's lots of space, and it's very kind of rural, and people get to have a little drink and when they finish their games.
That's I was about to say that's the only downside is that there's no bar on site. Is there? There's a pub.
There is a bar, but it hasn't always been open.
It's the student bar. You're right. There's a student bar.
Yeah. There
right.
was one year that it wasn't open, I think, for whatever reason.
You're right.
And this year it might be not open for a different reason. That's perfectly possible.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I think although by then I think we're okay because I think it's the 18th of June.
So, and we've gone to the local pubs, and the local pubs are really nice, aren't they? I'm sitting outside that tiny little pub. I've got gorgeous memories of that.
Excellent. Well, listen, I'll be there. You'll be there. I think Toby Billing's going to be there.
We'll take the cameras. Perhaps we'll do a couple of interviews or something.
That sounds good. We can do that. Yeah, absolutely. We'll buy any patron there a drink. Just come up and say hello, and we'll get you in there. I'm sure we'll have some games and some stories to tell as well.
It just makes me feel a lot safer that many of our patrons are extremely unlikely to cross half the world to get there.
I don't know.
You never know.
Only because we're on the amber list or the red list or whatever. Yeah, exactly. But then there's definitely some UK patrons that will be there.
I'd love to buy them all a drink. That'd be great.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay, guys. So the last thing we want to do today is take you through the final game from the last round. Tim Reid against Jason Nichols. This is one of those games that is going to come down to the last close combat phase, which is always good. I think there's always the kind of the ultimate. Isn't that how you prefer to win every game, Martin?
Yeah, I think so. Not being quite sure, even on that last roll. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's like
I think you can't say that it went down to the last dice roll because it always goes down to the last dice roll, isn't it?
That's true. But there is a last dice roll. Yeah, in most games.
Last close combat phase of the game is a good time for it to be decided. Yeah.
Unless you're playing going to church, don't set up inside the church.
In which case, before the game would be full.
Right.
As soon as I skulked out of the building, I think.
Exactly. Right. Anyway, this is another one of those very nice, pretty setups. So Jason is the Americans, Tim is the Germans. Ignore the guards counterattack and the Germans at the bottom there. I'm not going to change the template right now. Okay, so we have. So Jason obviously is trying to hold on to the hex Q8 here, the victory condition building. So Tim is going to be pushing on. You played this, Martin. You enjoyed the scenario?
Yeah, very much so. There's a lot of fun using the half tracks.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's have a look and see. Let's get that nicely centered. All right. So here we go. Let's see what goes on straight away. We've got some action. So interesting to see whether or not the far left-hand field gets used, as was so prevalent in a lot of the games, and also that hill on the right-hand side that seems to be very. And here goes the.
Looks like he's going for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking no chances.
Exactly. Oh, there's a. I think these guys played a bit of play by mail and they stitched logs together, so they've done a great job of that. By the way, I know it's hard work to do that.
Absolutely. It's not an easy task, is it, stitching them together? That's
right, exactly.
And I think Rob did my game.
Rob is your superstar.
I'm grateful. Yeah.
PBM guy. So the good thing is, so Rob and Tim are effectively next door neighbours. They live both in Australia, so that makes them. I'm surprised.
Because it's not a big place, Australia, is it? If you live in Australia, you probably know the guy.
That's right. Yeah? That's right. We've got a bit of street fighting going on here, and the Americans come out top.
Absolutely.
If you had to pick a side on this one, Martin, do you have a preference on the sides?
I really enjoyed playing the Germans. I'm not sure whether it's, I think actually statistically, I think it slightly favours the Germans, doesn't it?
That's right. Yeah, a lot of players gave the balance here.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, in the game I played, we did. I think.
Yeah. Now you've got your game coming up against Tomo. You're playing on Thursday.
I need to check the arrangements. Yeah.
Are you nervous?
Well, what will be will be. I think is the way I think about these things. I think Tomo's a formidable player, so
Yes,
it'll be interesting playing. I enjoy playing him,
that's right.
whatever the outcome.
There's some more
It's
action going on
busy over
here.
there, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's getting a bit of a bottleneck there.
Mm.
And this is, where are we on? We're on turn 2 still.
Yeah.
I've had a few questions about how we run through these log files. It's literally, we just kind of click the button and press page down, and just hold page down if you want to go faster.
Page down, yeah.
There's no easy way. I know Tom Rapetti was quite interested in doing some kind of a tool that would help annotate these.
Interesting. He's not going for the hill. He doesn't appear to be going for the hill.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Just kind of, and these guys now, these are Americans are way out of position now, out on this kind of far flank, which leaves them to do a bit of running. But
Germans really committed to fighting the Germans.
Yeah, the Germans. I mean, there's a lot of Americans just sitting there doing nothing, and that probably favours the Americans. They're sitting there waiting in position. It does look like they've become a bit focused on that thing, and now we've got
blazes.
You've got blazes going on. There's a melee that looks fairly even. I mean, obviously the German -1 there, but that can go either way. We know. And we got a recall going on. It's
the Americans are moving.
Yeah. But already it's looking tough on the Germans, isn't it?
I think so.
I suppose there's hope when the victory hex isn't occupied. There's always hope.
Yeah.
Got more problems here. The melee is still going on.
Are they going to end?
Oh, and so now the Germans have. The Germans have taken
a hand there.
Yeah. And we got a.
I know the Americans have won the L2.
Yeah, exactly. They've got, and they're going to pick up the Panzertruck as well.
Yeah. Set up my phone. I am the ultimate professional.
Okay, so is that the American squad breaking there? But looks like the Germans are absolutely running. Now. Germans are running out of squads, aren't they? Here.
Yeah. It's always winnable though for the Germans this game, because all you've got to do is get a vehicle into that hex.
That's right, and the low morale of the low morale of the Americans does give you that fighting chance, doesn't it?
And they can collapse so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a squad here that's breaks.
There in M9, you've got a broke now.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's still lots of time. It's still only turn 3.
Yep.
And the Americans are starting to look pretty weak.
Yes.
Thin.
Yeah. So here comes the.
I'm not sure.
What's up?
No, I didn't notice there was a gap between L3 and M3, but I was thinking the half track couldn't go over the wall, but there isn't a wall there.
No.
Yeah, this is.
So I mean, the Germans have done well here to they've got a squad and a half here. There's a broken American squad here, and actually, they've got a chance now. They're suddenly
There is he's avoiding the old street fighting, isn't he? So he's building those units around Q8,
right?
And he's got some infantry coming in there too.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, it feels like it's favouring the Germans.
Yep. I think this is a little bit of a log file peculiarities here.
Yeah. So we've seen that before, haven't we?
Yeah. And so there's a big close combat now. Jumping in. This looks winnable for the Germans.
Very winnable for the Germans, yeah.
It looks like some high rolls from the melee.
Locked in melee.
Yeah, that's not going to help the Germans, but the half track there.
And he's still got the 9 -2.
Yes.
What's his name? Simmons.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that I've never really got to grips with, but the ability to hold on to that 9 -2 until the end of the scenario is often how you win a game, isn't it? Oh, we've got the blazes.
And it's so easy to put them up front with the best machine gun or something. And in fact, the Richard that I played used him to rally those 6 morale Americans. Even when they're DM, they go up to 8 morale, don't they, when they're broken? Yeah. With a 9 -2, they were coming back immediately.
Right.
It wasn't a bad use at all. It's blaze is really spreading.
Not quite sure what
always makes me a little bit sad when it spreads a lot, but doesn't really have an impact on the game.
Right.
I think you're rolling a lot of dice to find out what happens to the blaze.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant, I think.
That's true. So the Americans are getting back. Thanks to some routing and some good manoeuvre there. We've got this melee that is...
the Germans were losing that melee bit by
They are.
bit.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. We've been whittled down. Now the Americans are on top.
Now. Well, I'm a little bit confused who controls that hex now, because they're both in there. I can't remember who was in first.
So the Americans win that one, and we've got... This one is going to carry on.
Yeah, this looks
good for the Americans, doesn't it? So in comes the final throw from the Germans. Well, okay. I mean, it looks like now like the.
Yeah.
So our claim of the last close combat is true, but I mean, if you're gonna have a close combat, I guess having 3 squads and 9 -2 in there against one guy.
It seemed to swing a little bit though, back and forwards. So.
That's right. So so a good win there for the Americans and Jason. So well played.
Well done, Jason. Well done too.
He's into the next round. I think we've covered everything. We I guess we're gonna watch some World War II films. We haven't figured out yet what we'll watch, but we'll watch something for next time. And anything else on your side, Martin?
No, that's it. I've used up all my personality for today.
Well, so we're going to put a link to your nice drive around your hometown.
Oh yes,
village.
Everyone go and have a look at that. That'd be great.
That's what we'll do. And I guess until then, Martin, we're going to see you. We'll see you soon, perhaps even in person soon.
That would be great. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and we'll arrange our time for our fighting withdrawal game, which we've played a couple of times, by the way. We have played it a few times.
We definitely played it once when we were we had a sort of semi go at something like Illuminating rounds, but I never really did anything.
That's very true, and so
it never got aired, did it? But,
it didn't get aired because I did it on my own and it didn't work very well. Your style on your own is much better than my style on my own. So yeah, exactly. It was a lot of work as well to do all the extra bits. I'm just going to look and see how many times I've played Fighting Withdrawal. Have you? I definitely know that we've played it. So okay.
I'm sure you're right.
Yeah, so I played it 4 times. So I've beat you in 2011. I beat you with the finish. And I've played against. Bernie Fox. Oh no, Fighting Back. No, only 3 times. So, So your choice of sides, Martin.
Okay.
Whenever we do that one.
I don't mind. Should we roll a dice?
Can do. Should we do it?
Unless you've got a preference, I really don't mind.
Roll a dice, Martin.
Okay.
I like
I'm looking at Bascal. I can't think where the dice is. There we are. 5. All right. Okay. So I'll be the finish on 4, 5, and 6.
Okay.
And I'll be the Russians on 1, 2, and 3. So I'm the finish. No, I'll roll again. Okay, yeah. I'm the finish.
No. Okay, fine.
Did I say Russians on 4?
Doesn't matter. No. You said.
What did I say? Whatever I said.
I don't mind. Honestly, it's whatever you want.
I know.
It's fine. You're the finish. Yeah, you're the finish.
That's a nice clean end, anyway, to Illuminating Round.
Yes, nailed it. Okay, guys. Till next time. Bye.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Bye.